Algebra 1 students, welcome to your 8.8 notes. That's right, we feel good. Why? Because this is Algebra 1, and this is group factoring. Alright, Algebra 1 students, I hope you're enjoying your long weekend. Let's do some math. Now we're going to look at group factoring. This is section 8.8 in your book. And the reason we're going out of order is we're going to use a method in section 8.6 that helps us to factor, but we need this knowledge of group factoring first. So first of all, the big idea, when factoring a polynomial with four terms, we can at times use group factoring. Anytime you have a polynomial in the format ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, you look at the coefficients. If they are proportional, if a is to b as c is to d, this is a method that will work. It's a great method. It's the first time we've been able to factor four terms. Okay, so a polynomial with four terms. And I'm going to let you guys read some of the rules down there, the steps. We will actually be walking through those on each problem, so rather than read them all to you now, I'm going to just start working on the problems, and we're going to do this. So number one, first things first, put the first two terms in a group and the last two terms in a group. What I look for in each of these terms then is the GCF. So 20r cubed plus 8r squared, I can take out 4 and r to the second. And that would leave me inside the grouping 5r plus 2. My second grouping, I can factor out a 3, and that would be all I could factor out. So I'd have 5r plus 2. And now here's the key to this. 5r plus 2, 5r plus 2. Those have to be the same or you cannot continue with this process. So we're going to have 4r squared plus 3 times 5r plus 2. Now, sometimes this last step throws people off a little bit because you see up here we have two 5r plus 2 terms, but down here we only have 1. I think it would be simple just to say that that's similar to saying, well, when you do something like 3x plus 4x, that equals 7x, not 7xx or 7x squared or something like that. It's just 7x. I always think of it this way. If you have two cats and I have three cats, together we have 2 cats plus 3 cats, or 5 cats. I've never heard anyone describe their family as having 5 cats or 5 cats squared. As a matter of fact, I don't even like people that have cats. Those things are horrible pets. They're mean. They're not cool like dogs or fish. But that's a side note. No offense, cat people. All right, number 2, 7x cubed minus 14x squared plus 11x minus 22. I'm going to group again the first two and the last two. Let's factor out from the first two terms is 7x squared, and we'll be left with x minus 2. The second term, again, we can factor out an 11 this time, and then we'll have x minus 2 is the rest of this. And once again, the fact that the terms in the parentheses are identical allows us to simplify it to this form, 7x squared plus 11 times x minus 2. All right, number 3. Now you may notice that mine looks a little different than yours. Why don't you change that last value? I had a mistake on my problem. I know that surprises none of you. All right, so let's start with our group factoring. Now, it's kind of weird when we have a minus sign in the middle. What I'm going to do is put the parentheses around it and then put a plus sign in the middle. It's not multiplication here. It is addition. We need to think of it that way. All right, so the first two terms, I can take out a 4 and I can take out 3 of those 4a's. So I'm going to do 3a plus 4. Now, when I look at the last two terms, I can factor out a negative 5 and I can factor out an a, and that would leave me with 3a, careful on this sign here, but it's plus 4, because remember, negative 5a times positive 4 would give me a negative 20a. So then my next step looks like this: 4a cubed minus 5a times the quantity of 3a plus 4. Now I threw you for a little bit of a loop here because we're not completely factored yet. If there is still a GCF, a greatest common factor, that we could work with, we need to take it out. So when I look at this term right here, I see I could factor out an a. So I'm going to make this 4a squared minus 5 and 3a plus 4. So that one took a couple of extra steps, but it gets us there, and that's what our solutions should look like, our factored form. All right, same instructions here. Factor by grouping. Again, we have that pesky negative sign in the middle. Just think of it as being plus a negative number. Let's take an x squared out of the first term, and we'll have x minus 6 All right, sorry for that distraction, kids. Mr. Thornburg had the gall to call me while I'm working. I'm working for you, recording this video to help you learn. All right, so I've got x squared times x minus 6, and then I'm going to factor out a negative 9. And you're saying, well, wait a minute, hey, why a negative 9? It's because I want that first term to be positive. And here we go, x minus 6. Another way to think about it is we need those two terms to match up. Now when I say the two terms, what I'm referencing is that one and that one. The x minus 6, they are the same. So here we go, we're going to have x squared minus 9 times x minus 6. Now this problem may be a little bit of a challenge for you guys at this point, but here's what I'm seeing. X squared minus 9 actually fits our difference and sum multiplication pattern. So this is actually x minus 3 times x plus 3 times x minus 6. So x squared minus 9 right here, I'm changing this to be x minus 3 times x plus 3. That may be a little leap for you right now to work that direction. You're used to working that way. Working backwards may still be a challenge. We'll get you there before we get to the end of the chapter. All right, it looks like we have one problem remaining. As you know, the last problem is always a fun one. And I will not play the final countdown for you this time. Sorry for those of you that are big fans of the song. But let's take a look at this one. First pair of terms, x cubed plus x squared y. We could take out an x squared. Now I know that feels a little funny because you have multiple variables, but all I have to look at is I don't have a y here, but I have 3 x's. Here I have 2 x's. So what I'm going to be left with is x plus y. Now for my second grouping, I see I have 2 y's here and 3 there, so I'm going to take out 2 of them, so I'm going to factor out a y squared, and that leaves me with x plus y. That is officially beautiful because we have matching terms remaining, so I can now condense to this factored form you see right here, x squared plus y squared times the quantity of x plus y. All right, Algebra 1 students. After that great lesson, I hope that you are still feeling good. Again, enjoy this weekend. Come back Monday, ready to quiz and ready to own this. We'll see you later.